I didn't had the chance right now to review the question which you sent me last night, but I'll do it today just after our class. So in the last class we discussed regarding this absolute self-referencing and relative self-referencing and just after your absolute and relative self-referencing, we need to move forward to the next title of this chapter, which is working example 8.20. This is also simple. They are just multiplying the cost of before into tax and we can work on to this example for but this is also simple. You can even do it at your home. You just need to create a chart like this. Then it is adding all of the values that are together. So you can add the sum formula for adding all of the text values. You can even set up ranges as well. Like as you can see here, that they have written here sum and tax charge. They should be writing like that you are taking a sum of total from cell C4 till C7, but they have used the name as tax charge. Tax charge is basically the name of a range, and the range is already defined. So ranges, you can also define the ranges like from this cell to this cell if you want to add it as a reference. So you can use these. So let's move on to the other functions that I have right here. A function is a ready-made formula representing a complex calculation, and we have already implemented this. For example, sum is it from A5 till B10 cell, or even calculating an average cost of something. These functions are reserved, these functions are ready-made into your Excel sheet. So you just need to make a complex calculations. Some of them are right here as well. That is a sum, average, minimum, and maximum. So for example, 20. For example, if these are some set of values and you want to create a sum out of all of them, so you can just add in the formula, which is equals to sum tab, and you just need to select your the number of cells which you want it to be selected till. You can even write it, or you can even drag or drop it. So you can see right here that earlier, right into my class, I was discussing with you regarding ranges. So you can add a range by adding this sign. You can see that this is a two of the column. Like for example, if I want it to take the cells from A2 till A5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it like this. For example, A2, this and this. So this is going to be the formula. But if you write it with a comma, so this is only going to take these two cells. So let me implement this right here as well. That is equals to sum, and then I have drag and drop this right here. You can see that I have selected a range, and that's it. So it has calculated you the sum of all of them. Similarly, let's check out that what is this minimum function do. That minimum it basically returns you the smallest number in a set of values. Like if you can see that 10, 15, 20, 25 is an example of a set of values. So it is returning you, it is going to return you the most minimum of the value. So it is giving you the answer of 10. That means that 10 is the most minimum value right here. And if I'm going to add a function of maximum, so it is you can find the maximum value that is in a certain data range. You are just going to drag bracket close and enter. So this is the highest value. You can even calculate the average of them by just simply typing the average formula, and again by selecting this data set, it is going to calculate you an average of all of the values. Like the average value is 8 right here. So this is basically your count, this is basically your minimum, this is your maximum, this is your average. Moving on to this example, you can see that this is a sheet of student marks, and it is basically calculating the total average minimum maximum marks that each student scores in a set of 4 test rows. You can see that I have 4 test rows considered as mark 1, mark 2, mark 3, and mark 4. And while adding the total of that, you can see that I am adding the total formulas. So you can even write it by selecting each of the cell, or you can even give the range of that, like from cell B3 till E3, from cell B4 till E4, from cell E5 till B5. So as you can calculate the average of that, which is also simple, the minimum marks, the maximum marks. You can try this one as your homework as well, just like applying these formulas and then calculating the values, finding maximum, minimum, average. Now, let's move on to the rounding functions. So, we use rounding functions when I want to round my number to a whole number, or any sort of decimal place. A whole number or a decimal place. For example, integer, round, round up, round down. So let's check that what these functions do. So do you have any idea of these functions? Have you implemented them before?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me what this integer function do?
Basically, uh, it rounds the number down to the nearest whole number.
Okay, the round function.
The round function, it rounds the number, the whole number.
Like what is the difference between round and round ups?
Not sure about that, but
Okay, okay. So let's do this right here to provide you a deeper knowledge of these functions. This is your original number. This is your integer. This is your round. This is your round up. This is your round down. So the original number is something 25817328173.8569859282341 and 0.03256. Now, what do you think? If I add an integer function, what is it going to provide you within to an answer? So,
So I didn't get the question.
uh, I'm asking that if I apply here the integer function, what do you think? What answer it is going to generate?
So no idea.
Okay, no worries. This is the reason that I'm discussing this right here. So I have taken us some sample, like any example, any random number, and I have created these columns right here. So the original number or the random number, this is 25817.32817. Now, to apply the integer function, I'm going to press the equals key onto my keyboard. Then I'm going to press the integer function. Here you can see int integer function. I'm going to press the tab key onto my uh I am integer function. I'm going to press the tab key on my keyboard, and then I'm going to select this number. You can even click onto it, or you can even enter the cell number, which is A11, bracket close and enter. So you can actually see that if I add the integer function, it has removed the decimal places. Like it was earlier 25817.32817, but integer function, basic function is to round off the value to the nearest integer. So they have removed the decimal places. They have only given you a whole number. Is it clear? This is what
Yes, sir.
an integer function do. Like let's check onto another example. If I add here integer and I select this cell, which is A12, you can see that it has removed the decimal places. It has given you a whole number. If you can see this example, int, and this is A13, bracket close, you can see that this is giving you the value of 928. The decimal places are removed. And for example, if I apply this right here, integer as A14. So this was a zero, so they have given you a zero answer because we are rounding out off to the nearest whole number. So this is what an integer function do. It basically gives you a whole number value. Now let's discuss that uh what are this basically do. So this rounding function, let's discuss this. To implement this round function, you are going to press the equals to sign. Then you are going to write round, and I am going to select the cell which I want to round. That is A11, the original number. And now when I'm going to enter it, uh, when I'm rounding it, I also need to enter the number of digits, that how much I want this number to be rounded off. As you can see, the syntax of that, the computer is telling itself that if you are applying this function, you can see that this is rounding a number. I have selected the cell number, so you need to enter the comma and you need to type that how much decimal places or numbers you want to round it off. So for example, I want it off to be round to two numbers or three numbers. So if I enter it, you can see that this has rounded you with three numbers. Or if I write here 4, 5, 25817.339. 25817.33. It's and this rounding function, what it is doing is that it is rounding a number to the nearest decimal place. That explains that if I am rounding the value, so it is rounding up to two or three decimal places. So for example, round this up to three decimal places. Round this up to two decimal places. Round this to one decimal places. This is the round function. Now let's discuss the round up function. So a round up function is used when you want this to round up to two decimal places. Like you want the answer of your decimal places to round up, means if you want to increase it to two decimal places, and round down is that you want to decrease your number down. So there is a difference. Round up means is that you are increasing your number, and down means that you are decreasing your number. So to do that, you can write is equals to round up, and you can select whatever the uh, round up. You can select this number and you can enter that how much numbers you want it to be round up. So you can see that it is increasing your number. For example, 5. This is it for rounding down. You can make it like selecting this number. You need to set that how much number you want to round it down. Round down the original number. Round. So far, any confusion still here?
No, sir, everything is clear.
Let's check on to this example as well. So just after this, I will send you this sheet so you can even practice it on your own as well. Because when it comes to your papers, you will be asked to implement all of these functions together. So you should be having a clear understanding of all of these. So for example, let's take another original number. Let's take some of the powers to power 3, power 4. Let's make it 4, 5, 6, 7. And now if I want to have their powers, what I can do is that if this is a number, I can select this cell, whatever the value is in this cell, and a cap sign, whatever the value is in this cell, a cap sign plus 2. So you can even do it this way, or you can even implement the formula. The formula for power is that you are going to type power, and then whatever the number you have that is right here, this, and with the power, with comma, with the power you want it to be. So you can actually drag and drop the same function right here. So you do not need to do it again and again. You can see that it has changed itself. It is A18 to power 3. It is A19 to power 3. And it is calculating you an overall value. Similarly, for this function, you can even drag and drop it as well. You can see that this is A18, this is A19, this is A20. And for power 4, you can implement it like for power for this cell and the power you want it to be. Other than this, the dates and the functions we have did completed this into our this class as well, where I discussed with you that if you want to have a specific day, you can add the formula such as day, and you can write like, for example, if it's 15th of that, this is going to give you a day or any value that you have in your cell. If you want it to be for the month, you can add this month, and you can add if this is if this is an 8 month or what, month 8 or month B20. So these are basically functions for so that can calculate the months of it. For example, year, you have the year function. We have day, month, year, date. We have already completed that. Hours to calculate. For example, uh, this cell, this is 5 hours. This was the time right here. We have minutes as well to calculate it. For calculating minutes, you can type minutes with the serial number, date, time. I'm also going to take the same. It is going to give me my minutes. I have seconds, and for time, this goes like second. This goes like seconds, and this is giving you the accurate seconds for time. Time is already done. Now it is going to give you the current time and date. For example, weekdays like this. Weekdays basically gives the number of days in a week so that you can give it a value like this. So this is it for today. The next area I have is a bit complex text functions, but before moving on to that, I suggest that you complete all of these functions that are listed here in your sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3. That's all. I hope that it's quite clear to you. Do you have any confusions?
No, sir, everything is clear.